Shortly after 9 o'clock on the morning of April 16, 1947, Texas City, Texas was jarred by a tremendous blast. The French freighter Grand Camp, which was in the harbor and which was loaded with ammonium nitrate, had exploded. The ship had been burning for some time. A large group of sightseers had crowded the area, watching the fire, and those who survived describe it as a beautiful sight with deep orange smoke rising into the sky, partially clouding the morning sun. This beautiful sight soon turned to one of horror as the explosion split the air, literally destroying the ship and scattering fragments of what remained over a large area.
Under certain conditions, ammonium nitrate has the possibility of exploding. However, this was not well known at the time. Because of that, the longshoremen were not careful when handling this cargo. Even though smoking was prohibited, as shown by signs on the dock, this rule was often broken, and some longshoremen were as careless as to put lighted cigarettes on the paper bags holding the fertilizer. On the morning of April 16, 1947, a fire was discovered in the hold of the SS Grand Camp. Exactly what caused this fire is unknown. The men poured drinking water on the fire to try and stop it, but that didn't help, and this explosion destroyed the dock area, oil tanks, the Monsanto Chemical Company, homes, and business buildings. The damage to property outside of the dock was massive. Roughly 1,000 residences and business buildings were either damaged or totally destroyed. Windows 10 miles away were shattered, and pieces of the cargo were found 13,000 feet away from the ship. Several oil tanks were penetrated by flying steel or were crushed by the blast wave following the explosions. The first explosion disrupted the sprinkler systems and the water supply to them, therefore rendering all of Texas City's fire equipment useless. This meant that neighboring cities had to come help, which delayed putting the fire out. When the fire first broke out, the longshoremen attempted to put it out with drinking water. However, that would not do anything for a chemical fire. A hose was lowered into the hold. However, the captain would not allow anyone to turn it on for fear of ruining the cargo. Steam was admitted into the hold to deprive the fire of the oxygen it needed. This didn't work because ammonium nitrate had oxygen in its molecules. All of these men had no idea the damage that this fire would cause. An astonishing amount of people died that day. This explosion was not just contained to the dock, it affected most of Texas City. All of the firemen, most of the people on the dock, workers at the Monsanto Chemical Company, and more were killed. At least 433 people died, and about 135 were missing. Over 2,000 people suffered injuries as well, including school children 6,000 feet away who were hit by flying glass and debris. It has been made clear that little was known about the hazards to anyone handling or storing ammonium nitrate. The errors in labeling these bags created a false security that played a large role in this disaster. There were no instructions about handling the material, nor was it labeled as a hazardous chemical on the bag. In conclusion, the Texas City disaster was an industrial explosion that was caused by shipworkers and their superiors underestimating the danger of ammonium nitrate. Fortunately, this opened people's eyes and made them realize that ammonium nitrate needs to be handled properly. Smoking should never be allowed on piers or docks where there is cargo, and port facilities need to have disaster plans.